In this video, I'm going to show you the most amazing Twitter marketing software out there, Drippi.ai. Now, I might be a little bit biased, but this is truly how we've scaled Drippy to over 7 figures in revenue. So I want to use this video to show you all the different cool features that Drippy has to offer. Everything from scraping leads, to writing copy, to setting up an outreach campaign, to auto DMing new followers, to managing all your messages within one single inbox, to increasing engagement through our boost groups. All this so that you can keep scaling your company in the easiest and most cost-effective manner. And obviously this probably will be a longer video, so there will be timestamps down below in the description so you can skip ahead to any part that you wish to see. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to go to Drippi.ai. Now, if you are not a user already, you can click the first link down below in the description to start your 7-day free trial. Now, once you're here, obviously if you already have an account, you can just sign in. If you don't have an account, go ahead and hit the start free trial button right here. And so once you hit start free trial, you'll be prompted with the Drippy onboarding. Once you've entered your email and password, you can go ahead and hit continue, or you can just sign in with Google, whatever is easiest for you. As soon as you hit continue, an email should pop into your inbox so you can verify your email. This is what the email will look like, and now you just have to hit this link to verify your email. Once you do, you can go back to the original onboarding page and either hit refresh or it'll just refresh automatically. Once you do that, it'll just ask you some basic information about your company. So it'll go through your company size, how you heard about this. So in this case, it's going to be YouTube. You can add your website in here, and then you can select what features you are looking for. We're going to go ahead and hit next. Now we can actually connect our Twitter account. Now this is super easy. You just hit add an account. The Twitter API will pop up. You just enter your Twitter username, email, or phone number. Then it's going to ask for your password, and then your account will be automatically connected. Once it's connected, it'll prompt you to book an onboarding session. I highly recommend that you take advantage of this, as someone from our team will be able to walk you through setting everything up. All right, so once you booked your onboarding call, you'll be prompted with this screen right here. And all you need to do is you need to hit get started right in the middle. Once you hit continue, you'll be prompted with this screen right here. And now we can actually go through the functionalities and different features that Drippy has to offer. Now, obviously I know most of you want to use Drippy for outreach, so let me walk you through that whole process first. And so the first thing we need to figure out whenever we're doing any sort of outreach, whether that be on Twitter or not, is to find our lead list, right? We need to figure out who we're going to be reaching out to. So we need to scrape leads. Essentially how the Drippy lead scraper works is you can either select an account source or a tweet source, meaning you can either scrape anyone that interacted with a certain post, or you can scrape someone's followers or whoever they follow. And for the most part, I typically recommend people going with the account source just because these tend to be bigger and more high quality lists. For the most part, if you want to run smaller campaigns, then going for the tweet source can be a really good option. But for the most part, if you're running bigger campaigns, you want to be going for the account source method. All right, so the first thing we need to do if you actually want to use Drippy's lead scrapers, we need to navigate to the left-hand side of our screen and find the leads section. Once we do that, we're going to hit leads, and then this menu is going to open up. Now on the top left-hand corner, you're going to see a new lead source button, which you're going to want to hit. Once you select that, you'll be prompted with a couple different options: the lead scraper, the CSV import, and the lookalike leads feature. And in this case, we're going to go over the lead scraper. We're going to select that. And so once you hit that, you're going to be prompted with the two different options that I was talking about earlier. Once again, we got tweet source and we have account source. We're going to hit account source right here, and now it is prompting us to add a Twitter link. Now essentially what you want to do is you want to figure out who your ICP follows on Twitter. And so for this demo, I'm just going to plug in my personal Twitter account. So I'm going to go to profile. I'm going to take my link. So you literally want to copy the link. Then we go back into Drippy. We hit paste. And now my followers and the people that I follow will load up on screen. And so now, as you can see, we have all my followers and the people that I follow. And you can see a little snapshot of my account. And you can select which one you actually want to scrape: my followers or the people that I follow, or you could do both, right? So I'm going to select both. We're going to do add source. And now you can add a bunch more account sources. You can even add account sources and tweet sources all into one big lead source. It's really completely up to you. And you'll see that the import preview will start loading up right here. Now, once we've added all the lead sources that we want to add for this specific campaign, we're going to go ahead and hit next. Now, what this will do is it'll allow us to narrow down who we're going to be reaching out to based on the desired target audience. So for this example, we're going to go into bio context. We're going to hit add element word, and we're going to add CEO. We're going to add another word. We're going to say founder, and then we are going to say co-founder as well. So if you wanted to add a list of 1,000 keywords or whatever it might be, you can just select quick add, paste a bunch of them in there, and then you'll be good to go. So you don't have to manually type out all of them. So once we hit apply, you'll see that this number right here, leads remaining, is going to start going down. Why? Because we started with an initial 20,000 leads, which is the combination of people that I follow and people that follow me. And now we're down to 3.1 thousand. So out of everyone that follows me, only 3,000 people have one of these 3 keywords in their bio. And so you can see how you can start filtering down your list. Now you can also add some other filters like number of followers, which I like doing. So I'm just going to add greater than 100, and this list is probably going to go down by another couple hundred. Okay, so it didn't move the needle that much, but if I wanted maybe an even higher quality list, I can do, instead of 100, do 1,000, and then that's probably going to work really well. So now we're going to hit next, and all we need to do is we need to give our lead source a name, and you can look at a quick preview of who you're going to be reaching out to. So these are all going to be accounts that either I follow or follow me that have one of the 3 keywords that we added in their bio. We're going to name it just YouTube demo real quick. We're going to hit save, and then there we go. This lead source is actually going to start importing. You can see the import progress right here. You can see the total number of leads that you're going to scrape. You can see the account source or any tweet source that you might have added. You're going to see the bio contents, and then you're also going to see just a bunch of filters, right? So if you added bio contents, number of followers, whatever it might be, everything's going to show up in here. Now, if you wanted to download this list, once it's done importing, you can just do that by hitting this button on the top right-hand corner of your screen. And as these leads start importing, you're going to start to be able to see them down here as well. And now that our leads are importing, the next logical step is to create scripts and set up campaigns. So let me show you how to do that. So let's go back onto Drippy. Let's hit the automations tab on the left-hand side of your screen. Once you hit that, you'll see this menu right here. You can hit add new at the top or new automation right in the middle of your screen. We're going to go ahead and hit new automation, and you're going to be prompted with this right here. So there's a couple different types of automations. We're going to go through all of them in this video, but the classic outreach campaign is the cold DM 2.0. We're going to select that, then we're going to hit next. Now we want to select our lead source. So we're just going to look up, it's the YouTube demo one that we just uploaded. We're going to hit next. Now we can decide whether we want AI to completely take over our script or if we want to use AI to enhance our script. I typically like going for the script personalizer just because I like to have a little bit more control of what's actually going out, because you will be doing outreach from your brand. And so I highly recommend that you do the same. Okay, so we're going to select script personalizer. We're going to hit next. Now this is where we're going to paste our scripts. This is where we're going to create our copy. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add a context, right? So we can give our AI context so that it's able to personalize better based off of your specific business and offer. In our case, we're just going to say, we help B2B companies scale through Twitter outreach campaigns. And I'm using a little text-to-speech thing. I highly recommend you use one of those. They're super cool. Now we're going to head on over to scripts. Now what's really nice about Drippy is you can use a bunch of custom variables, and you can literally just add prompts directly in your script. So for example, I'm just going to say, hey, and then you can essentially just write whatever. I'm going to literally paste one of our best performing scripts so that you can use it as inspiration whenever you're coming up with your own scripts. But if you need help writing scripts, there's a bunch of resources on this channel that you can use to write the perfect DM copy. But really what you want to have in mind is that you want to be doing something that no one else is doing. You don't want to be pitching a commoditized offer or service. You really want to be providing value up front. And the frame I like telling people to put themselves in whenever they're writing copy is to think about the other person, right? Put yourself in your prospect's shoes. Would you personally reply to the message you are about to send? If the answer is no, then do not send that message at all. Just go back to the drawing board, come up with something that you'd actually reply to, and then that's what you want to be sending. Again, the more value you provide, the easier it is to see results. Another thing is that you really want to be creating offers that are specifically designed for cold traffic. You don't want to be pitching offers made for warm traffic to a cold audience, because that simply is not going to work. The most important thing when it comes to outreach is having an offer that the market actually wants. If the market actually wants your offer, your outreach will do good. If the market does not like your offer, your outreach will simply not work, no matter how much volume you run through it. So here we go. This is the script that we've been using very, very successfully here for our own campaigns at Drippy. Hey, hello, hi, first name. I put together a list of 1,000, and then we're using our AI prompting to use the lead's website to determine who their ideal customer is, and then we're name dropping them. And then we're saying who might be interested in, and then again, we're using AI to figure out what product or service our prospect provides, and then we're asking if we can send over a list of 1,000 of them, right? So it's like, hey, I put together a list of 1,000 doctors, lawyers, and accountants who might be interested in your video production services. Mind if I shoot it over? No cost at all, right? So it's a really compelling offer, providing a ton of value, super personalized, and it's one of those messages that is so personalized that it's literally impossible to tell that it's been automated, right? So that's kind of what you want to be shooting for whenever you're doing outreach. Now, something to keep in mind is that whenever you're doing this type of personalization, you always want to have the advanced AI setting turned on the top right hand corner of your screen. And then once we move on to settings, this is kind of what you want your messages to look like. Creativity around 1, you want to include all website context, all recent tweet context. Then you need to turn these on right here. So these toggles, they need to be turned on. Split messages, essentially how this works is if I hit generate, this is going to give me 2 different blocks of text, right? Which is really nice because again, people don't know that you can automate that. So if you're sending 2 different blocks of text, people will be like, oh, wow, okay, this isn't an automated message. If on top of that, you're using a bunch of personalization, it's just going to be way less likely that they know that it's automated. And so it just really increases the chances of you getting higher reply rates. And just to show how the AI personalization works, I know I just showed a quick example and this is what it will look like. Essentially, all you need to do is you just need to hit custom personalization. You delete the text in here and you just write a prompt. So we can say, look, I'm just going to use the voice to text, use the prospect's website to determine what service they provide to their customers. And that's it. It literally doesn't have to be any longer than that, any more complex than that. Our AI is already trained on the context of outreach, and so it'll know exactly what it needs to do. And you don't need to come up with these super elaborate prompts in order for it to do a good job. So for example, for the script that we were running before, I just showed you this quick demo. It's saying, hey, I put together a list of 1,000 founders, executives, product innovators, and community builders who might be interested in the DNA School of Creatorship. Cool if I send it over on the house, right? So literally impossible to know that this is automated. Plus, it's sending out 2 different messages. So super cool stuff. And you can also hit generate to see exactly what it is that you're sending. And if you don't like what it's sending, you can just tweak the prompt until you have something that works. All right, so once we have our script, we're gonna go ahead and hit next right here. And now we can add variants. Essentially what this will allow you to do is it's gonna allow you to test out different messages from the same campaign. So this is essentially just A/B testing. You can hit add a variant to add a variance. If you don't know what a variance to add, you can just hit generate ideas and AI will come up with some ideas for you that you can decide to use or not use, or you can start with them as a template and then you can edit them as well. We're gonna hit next and we're gonna be prompted with our follow-ups. What I typically recommend is that you send out 1 follow-up 1 day after, and it doesn't have to be anything too elaborate, just something super simple. So for example, with the last message, what we were typically saying is, hey, let me know if you want me to shoot it over. So what we typically say on the last script, so whenever we're reaching out to people with the last script, it's just something super simple. I always say is, hey, let me know if you want me to shoot it over, right? It's enough to where it's gonna pique their curiosity. It's like, oh, wow, if they didn't read the last one, now they see this in the preview, it's like, oh, what are they gonna shoot over? So on and so forth. And you don't really need too many follow-ups. I know people say the money's made on the follow-ups, and I agree, but there's 2 different types of follow-ups, and this is what this quote doesn't talk about. So there's follow-ups before they reply and they're interested, and after they reply and they're interested. All the money is made in the follow-ups after they are interested, not before they're interested, right? So just what we've seen based off of the data is that around 80% of your replies are gonna come from the first message, right? And this is kind of just across the board what we've seen. So you don't really want to be spending too many of your daily messages on follow-ups when you can be reaching out to new people. There we go. So once we've added our follow-ups, we can go ahead and hit next. Now we can schedule our automation. Before we do so, I'm gonna select some advanced settings. Now, I always do script previously contacted because if I've already reached out to someone, then I'm not gonna wanna reach out to them again with another pitch. Auto follow I have off. Auto like, sometimes I'll turn it on. This I really just highly recommend that you test out for yourself. Auto retweet, same thing. The one I like most is auto like or auto follow if it's a smaller campaign, just more targeted, okay? Now, do not contact list is super key. Turn that on. If there's people, maybe competitors, friends, family, whatever, current clients that you don't want to be reaching out to, add them to the do not contact list. Prevent cross-account duplicates. This one is super key if you're running multiple accounts, okay? Essentially what this will do is if you are running, let's say 5, 10, 20 accounts, whatever, this will allow you to not hit people twice, right? Which is super obnoxious, right? Because if you're ever gotten the same message from someone, that because maybe you're running the same script on a couple different accounts and lead sources sometimes overlap, right? And so you don't want to hit someone today and then hit them again tomorrow with a different account with the same pitch and then the day after the same thing, right? You only want to be reaching out to people once within a certain time frame. Obviously, maybe a couple months down the road, then it's completely fine to hit them up again, but you just don't want to be hitting them with the same message twice within a very small period of time. AI language check is super cool because what you can do here is you can decide to only reach out to people that speak a specific language. In my case, we target English speakers, and so we're going to select that. AI location check. If you wanted to only reach people in the United States, for example, you can go ahead and do that. You just select that, USA. And the last one that's super key is activity check. You can turn this on, and what this will do is it'll only message people that have been active within the last certain amount of days, which is the number that you're going to select, right? So typically 7 to 14 works really well. If you want to be a little bit less less strict, you can do 30 days, and then that should be perfect. And then there we go. That is our automation all set up. We're gonna give our automation a name. Once again, we're gonna call it YouTube demo. You can select the sending account that you wanna use, you hit create, and then you'll be on your way to sending messages. Now, I wanna go over the dashboard because I've had a couple questions on this. So essentially how Drippy works at the time of recording this video is that every account needs a specific lead list and needs a specific campaign. Okay, and so if you want to go through all your different campaigns, you can click on the one account that you've set the campaign for, and then you can go through the different campaigns by clicking on the different accounts. Now, once you select a specific account, if you ran multiple campaigns on this account, you'll obviously see them right here on the left-hand side. But what you want to look for to be able to tell which one is live is this little icon right here. If it's grayed out, that means it is paused and or stopped. If it's grayed out, that means it is paused, meaning it is not active. And if it's highlighted purple, like the YouTube demo, and then this one right here that just started, then those will be purple. Now, this is super key. Here, for example, we have a campaign that just started at very low volume. As you can see, 87 messages sent. We have no reply rates as of now because this campaign literally just started, but you'll see the activity feed right here. Now, what's really nice is you can go in here. It says eligible lead not found. Essentially what happens here is that our system tried finding a lead to reach out to, but for whatever reason, it couldn't find one. If you want to know the reasons, you can hit this, and then this will tell you, okay? So we're gonna hit this, it just says finding next user DM failed. Why? Because it's checking this specific person. Then it says they haven't been previously contacted, so that's good. Then it says they're not on do not contact list, which is good. Now it's saying it's skipping this person because the country code is not allowed, right? So the country code here for this campaign, we probably set it to only reach out to people in the US, and this account probably isn't in the US, and so for that reason, it decided to skip it. Now it's going on to the next one, saying checking this account, this person hasn't been previously contacted, this person is not in the do not contact list, this person passed the AI check, but then it skipped this person because their DMs are closed, right? So if you want to know specifically why some leads are being skipped, you can just hit this and then you can just read through the logs. Now, something that's also really key is this graph right here. You can obviously see the number of messages that are being sent out throughout the day. You can see how many replies you're getting, and then you can see how many leads are imported, meaning how big the initial lead source was. Then you can see how many messages are pending. Then you can see how many messages have been skipped or how many accounts have been skipped and how many you've actually contacted. And you can also see how many messages you're sending per hour. Now, you can pause the campaign completely. You can pause new cold DMs. You can pause follow-ups, and if you want to edit anything about the campaign, you can just hit this edit button right here. If you're looking to delete the campaign for whatever reason, you hit these three buttons at the top right-hand corner of your screen, and then you can hit delete automation. Now, if at any point in time you feel lost, you can always look for these watch the tutorial buttons all across Drippy. You'll find them everywhere. You can hit that, and then there's going to be a video of me going through how to set up that specific feature within Drippy. Okay, so now we're all good to go. We know how to find leads, we know how to write scripts, we know how to set up campaigns, and we know how to read the dashboard. Now, if you have a bunch of different accounts, you're probably going to want to reply to all these accounts from one single spot. And so that's why we built the Drippy inbox. Once again, if we open up our Drippy and we go to the left-hand side of our screen, we're going to hit the inbox button. All right, so once you hit inbox, you can select all the different accounts that you want to show up within the inbox. If you only want to do it from one account, you can do it. If you want to put them all together, you can do that as well. And now what we can do is we can either just open up all their inboxes. Meaning this is going to show all the messages that you're sending out, all the messages that you're receiving, but it's not going to filter them by unread or unreplied. If you want to do that, you can literally just hit the unread. These are all the unread messages, meaning messages that you have not opened. But maybe you want to go one step further. Not only can you filter by unread, but you can also filter by unreplied. Okay, so you can do that, and then you can just kind of bang these out as the day goes by, so you don't miss out on any interested leads. Now, what's also really nice is you can write your message in here directly. So for example, let's say we wanted to reply to Hunter right here. We can do that by just doing, hey Hunter, right? We can do that. It's going to send automatically. Now what we can also do is we can select this right here to schedule new messages, right? So essentially what this will allow us to do is to set up follow-ups after we've started a conversation. So after they've replied, and we can do, hey Hunter, let me know where I can send the list. So if Hunter doesn't reply in an hour, this is going to be sent. Obviously, if he replies, then the message is going to get automatically canceled. All right, and so here we go. You're going to get this notification on the top left-hand corner saying scheduled follow-up message, and then you'll see this within the chat. So this message will go out in 59 minutes if Hunter doesn't reply to us. Now, what's really nice about this too is you can look at the lead details. You can add tags right here. Let's say this specific guy is interested, so we can add him in here. And let's say we just sent him the list over, so we can add add him to the list. We can add any notes. We can say, hey, Hunter is from this company. This is what we spoke about, et cetera, et cetera. This is really nice in case we get Hunter on a call. The sales guy can just jump on here and essentially just use this as a CRM. Now, if we wanted something that's really cool too is you can search messages. You can search by content within messages, and you can also search by username and or just name. All right, and so that is pretty much it when it comes to the inbox. Now you can see how you can very, very easily reply to everyone that messages you across as many accounts as you have connected to Drippy. All right, so now we've gone to how to scrape leads, how to set up campaigns, and we've gone through the Drippy Uni box. Now we're gonna get into how to set up a campaign that not very many people know about, but is super, super effective. And I'm talking about the new follower auto DM feature that we have. The name is pretty self-explanatory, but essentially you can reach out to people right after they follow you. It's super quick to set up. Let me quickly show you how that works. All right, so once again, we're gonna go back to our Drippy. Now we're gonna go to automations. Now, because this is a new follower auto DM, we do not need to scrape leads because the leads are people that just followed us. So we don't know who's gonna follow us, so we can't build out a lead list. So what we need to do is we're gonna go to automation. We're gonna hit add new right here. Now we're gonna go to the third option, which is auto DM new follower. We're gonna hit that. We're gonna hit next. And now the process is the exact same as you saw earlier for just the regular outreach campaign. We're gonna do script personalizer right here. We're gonna hit next. Same context for script. Now you can do the same thing you did earlier, but what I see people do the most and what I personally do is I thank people for following, number one. So I'm like, hey, first name, thanks for the follow. And then I send them over my YouTube link. Now I do it in this specific manner, and I highly recommend that if you're gonna be sending out links through outreach, you do it this way. Now let me explain why. So Drippy obviously has the setting called split messages. And if you hit generate, what's gonna happen is this is gonna be sent out as two different messages like I showed earlier. Now, why is that important whenever you're sending links? Because if you go to your Twitter and you go to your inbox, not Drippy, but Twitter, you'll see that every single message has a preview, right? So the preview is kind of like the first line or first 1.5 sentences from the message that you're receiving. And so what happens in the preview is a link, or the last message you sent contains a link, is the preview will say sent a link. And that dramatically decreases open rates, which means less replies. And so what you really want to be doing is this, because the preview will say, instead of sent a link, will say, hey, first name, thanks for the follow, right? And so that's really what you want to be doing. We've just seen better reply rates across the board if you do this. So again, if you're sending links, this is how you want to do it. And that's it. We're going to hit next. We can add a variance again, so we can do that. We can add follow-ups again. You know how to do that now. We're gonna hit next. Now you can select the time delay. I typically do 3 to 7 minutes. In this case, we're just gonna do 4 minutes after follow, because I feel that if it's just like immediately after or like a minute after, it just doesn't look as real, right? So this is what I recommend doing. Just a couple minutes afterwards, you give your automation a name, you select the account from which you want to send, you hit create, and then you're all good to go. You don't even have to touch this automation ever again, unless you obviously want to change up the script. And not only that, but we also have a feature that will allow you to auto DM people that just interacted with your posts. This is super, super useful if you're running any sort of giveaway, or maybe you just want to reach out to people that have interacted with your stuff just to start a sales conversation. So let me show you how to set that up real quick. Once again, we're going to head on over to Drippy. We're going to hit our automations tab, and then again, add new. Now we're going to select the second option, which is auto DM tweet interactions. We're gonna hit next, and now we need to add a tweet. I'm just gonna go to my Twitter. So now all you need to do is you need to take a tweet that had some sort of engagement. This one really didn't have too much engagement, but I think it's a really good tweet. So I'm just gonna copy it. Now I'm gonna go back onto Drippy. I'm gonna hit paste. Now it's gonna start loading just like the lead sources did. And there we go. Now we're gonna hit next. Now we can configure our message. So this can be super, super simple. I'm just gonna say something like, hey, glad you're enjoying the posts. Are you currently running any outreach? Let me know if I can help. There we go. Just something super conversational, but it is moving the sales conversation forward, which is what you want. Because I honestly, if you're just super conversational and you never figure out a way to get to that sale, then there really isn't any reason for you to be doing any outreach, right? Outreach is meant for you to make more money. You can start off with just conversational messages, but you want these conversational messages to be pushing the conversation forward into the sales world. Okay, so I think this does that pretty well. We're gonna hit next. Now in conditions, if you're saying like, comment the word XYZ and then retweet, now you can select that. So let's say we want people to like, comment, and retweet. We want them to comment a specific word. Let's say the word, just like DM, we can do that. If it doesn't have to be a specific word, you can just turn that off as long as they're liking, commenting, and retweeting, whatever it might be. Maybe you just want like and comment, you can do that, or maybe it's just likes. And then once you've selected your conditions, you can go ahead and hit next. Now we're gonna give our automation a name. We're gonna do the same thing, YouTube demo, you hit create, and then you're good to go. All right, cool. So the last feature I wanna show you actually isn't out at the time of me recording this video. It's something new that we've been working on and we're super excited to launch, but probably by the time that you're watching this video, it'll be out. And I'm talking about our boost groups. What boost groups will allow you to do is it'll allow you to get more engagement on your posts. How we do it is we've gamified the system to where you can add a post and give people points for interacting with your stuff, and at the same time you're interacting with other people's posts, earning those points so that then you can go back and add more posts to the feed, so on and so forth. And just based off of our testing, what this does is it 5 to 10x's your impressions, making it way easier to attract inbound leads, new super high quality followers. And what we've seen is that this actually also increases your DM reply rates. Why? Because the first thing someone does whenever they get an interesting DM is click on their profile. If they see a bunch of engagement, a bunch of followers, odds are they will reply. This subscription is literally just $10 a month, and you do not need any other Drippy subscription to be a part of the boost groups. Not only that, but we guarantee a 5 to 10x boost in your impressions. And so if you don't get that, you get your $10 back. And so let me show you how it works real quick. So one last time today, we're gonna go back onto Drippy and we're gonna hit boost groups on the left-hand side. Now you'll see all the boost groups in here. And by the time you're watching this, there's gonna be a whole bunch of them in here. I'm just gonna go to my groups. I'm gonna hit view. And now essentially how this works is I can go into my Twitter. I can paste a specific post. Now I can decide how many boost points I wanna be giving out to people per interaction. Okay, so I can set up a different number of boost points per like, per retweet, and per comment. And so I'm just going to set this up this way. What this means is I have a total of 2 boost points right here. I have 364 total boost points, but I only have 2 like points, 146 retweet points, and then 216 comment points. And so I can only give out 2 like posts. I can give out as many as 146 retweets and retweet points, and then 216 comment points. Now you can select the total amount of points that you want to give away, and then how many points per interaction. And so if I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and hit post. Now this is gonna go over to the feed. Now people can go in here, they can like my post, they can comment automatically, and they can retweet right from this page. And again, we've gamified the system to where everyone needs to be engaging in order for them to be in the group. It's only $10. And so there's gonna be a whole bunch of people in there giving you a bunch of reach. So highly recommend you check them out as well. And that's it. That is the full Drippy.ai tutorial. I know it was a long one, so I appreciate you for sticking around till the end. If you have any questions, you can email me to my personal email, alex@Drippy.ai, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I see it. Once again, if you want to test things out, the first link down below in the description will allow you to start your 7-day free trial. Now, if you want my team and I to set this up for you and run your whole Twitter marketing funnel, click the second link down below to apply to work with us. And I'll leave you with this video where I walk through what Alex Hormozi has to say about outreach in general. I think you'll find it valuable. I'll see you there.